I know The Sims 4 extremely well. I've been playing it for a long time. I've got an embarrassing number of hours in it. And it's rare that things surprise me about this game anymore, especially with the older content, because at this point I have like an encyclopedia's worth of Sims knowledge in my brain. But I just discovered something about the base game that is so deeply upsetting to me that I have to make an entire video on it. Obviously, I play in Willow Creek a lot, but I don't really ever use any of their pre-made houses. I mostly just bulldoze these and put my own down. And because I always bulldoze them, I did not realize that this house next to the pancakes is such a disaster. It's actually not that bad. It's not the shape, it's not the furnishings. It's a very reasonable, kind of what you'd expect from the Sims 4 base game sort of house. This is called the Camelback house. A lot of Willow Creek is kind of inspired by New Orleans, and I actually do like the shape. The thing that is so upsetting to me is the fact that these two windows are not even. There's these two small windows right on the front, and they're at different heights. I don't understand how they could have done this to me. I don't understand why they would have done this, how they didn't notice this when they were building it. And I'm sure I've complained about this before in like fixer-upper type videos of the past, but I forgot this was here and now I have to fix it. Because I just can't. I can't look at this any longer. I have to save this house. And actually, I think that we could probably make a pretty big difference on this house. I'd love to do something like add a yard in. I might try and make it a little bit smaller too, or at least try to rearrange the floor plan to make it use the space a little bit better. Right now, the house only costs $35,000, so I would like to keep it relatively cheap. I might try to not cheat for any extra money, but we'll see how that goes. And I also only have the base game installed, so we can try and make a house that everybody can use. I think the other issue is the roof just being a plain default swatch. I know this is ridiculous, but I feel like this roof swatch, because it's the default, makes it look like it's not finished to me. It's kind of like if you try to use this wallpaper, it just looks like you didn't paint the walls. That's what that roof looks like in my mind. And it's a shame because it is a nice roof color. It's just a nice simple gray roof, but I cannot bring myself to use it. I think we should start by trying to swap the roof out for something else. I just don't know what color to switch it to. And then I think our next step should be to make the house a whole bunch smaller. To be honest, I might even scoot it back like loads. It's not like it's bad. I just feel like it might benefit from being a little bit smaller. Oh, I'm getting rid of all of this landscaping too. We're gonna have to start over with that stuff. That is just not gonna work. Also, before I get too far into this, I should warn you that if you saw a version of this house on the gallery that looks a little bit different and you're thinking, Kayla, are you renovating this twice? Yeah, I am. You know why? Because I recorded the whole video yesterday with no audio. So I'm trying again today and we'll see how it goes this time. I have been having so many tech issues this week. I honestly feel like my head might explode, but we're gonna get through this. It's gonna be fine. I think I'm also gonna make this wall upstairs a little bit shorter. I think it might benefit from being a bit smaller. We can add in a little bit of a side yard right here. I'm gonna have to redo the entire floor plan on the inside because this is just a complete mess. Nothing that's in there is gonna work. I'd actually like to be able to have some sort of second bedroom upstairs, so maybe I can try and scoot this. I also like the idea of this color scheme, but there's just something off about it. It's the light yellow, I think. I want to use those light yellow windows, but I just hate how on the inside they turn yellow. Not that you can tell because it's so dark, but that swatch, the way that it's yellow on the inside instead of white, there's just something about that color. It looks like a weird bad beige. Does that make sense? It's not like this one where with this window, it's white and yellow. This is better, but when the whole thing is all yellow, it's a mess and I can't do it. We could potentially swap this out because this gets us a little bit more color in there. And we could even use like the light yellow columns. These are a little bit fancier. I also have this really nice little spandrel, and I think that honestly alone makes a massive difference on the exterior. It is a little thing, but I just think that looks so much better. This is more expensive, so we're kind of wasting some money right now, but I think that's okay. I never said it had to stick to the budget. That was just a thought that maybe would be nice to do. Doesn't mean I have to do it. We have to get our priorities in check. Like, is this house gonna be cute or is it gonna be cheap? Because it's not gonna be both. It's not gonna happen. It's bad enough that it's gonna be base game. It is possible to make a cute house with just the base game. I've just used the base game stuff so much at this point that I have a hard time making things that are unique and different enough from what I've already built. you know? Well, at the very least, no matter what we do, it's gonna look better than this. Because the rug layout in here, like this is a complete mess. Why did they do that? Okay, so I'm thinking right now that it might actually be kind of cute for us to split this up a little bit. I've made this into 2 very small bedrooms and 2 very small bathrooms, which might be a bad thing, I don't know. But typically in The Sims 4, I'd prefer to have smaller bedrooms, and I think that this looks a little bit better. Of course, these windows are messed up now because of how I have the doors. Oh, this bedroom is so sad looking. I don't know how we're gonna make do with this. I can probably get it to be a little bit bigger, which might help. And then downstairs, I don't really know how to best split all this up. I know that I want to make like a slightly more formal entryway. I want to have this be like more designated as an entryway. I'm saving like every 2 seconds because my computer's been having so many issues. It already crashed once in this video, by the way. I didn't make a big deal about it because I'm trying to be calm, but we have been going through it. I think that back here in this section, we could totally turn this into another set of bedrooms. This house is just so big. It could so easily become like a 4-bedroom house. I don't know why it had so few before. Okay, so imagine that these 2 rooms become 2 extra bedrooms. Why are you doing that? If this one really wanted to, it could probably have an ensuite bathroom. I don't know if that's worth it. With that, it actually becomes a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom house. And I don't hate that. I think that's actually really nice. I like the idea of it being a little bit more open too with this floor plan. I guess it was pretty open before, but I feel like this is a slightly more updated layout. This is also extremely different from what I did to it yesterday with my first attempt at renovating this house. So maybe that's a good thing. I guess you would hope that if you're gonna do it twice in 2 days, it would be better the second time. I'm kind of interested in swapping out the floor. This is like a slightly more old style flooring, but I kind of like that better. And then I guess we're kind of trying to channel that like pastel yellow that we've got on the outside. I don't know if these windows look bad from the interior, so we'll see how this goes. The base game and pastel yellow aren't really friends, by the way. I don't really know how possible it'll be to achieve that with what we're working with, but I'll see what we can do with this. I think they had used kind of cheap appliances before too. I guess I'll do that too. Pastel yellow. Yeah, see? You see, pastel yellow, it just doesn't work. We have this horrible, like kind of putrid color. I don't know if I can bring myself to use that though. Oh, this has like a little gold band. That could be nice. I used to do this a lot where I would size up the base game curtains. I don't know if that's terrible or not. They're kind of clipping, like they would be clipping into the floor, but you can't tell that when you're looking at the house like this. There is no such thing as pastel yellow in the base game. We can maybe have some green. I kind of want it to be a little bit more contemporary, I guess. That's not the best word for it. I guess I just don't really want it to be like so old school fancy. I'm gonna try and customize a coffee table. That's just 2 big coffee tables put together, but it's not terrible looking. And I hate to say it, but I might just use like the plain white base game sofas. I like those and I like how it's easy to get around them. I wonder if we could do a really fancy wallpaper though. This does come in a light yellow. I don't think it looks good. So does that, but it's like a different color than the rug though, which is very frustrating. I guess we don't have to use the yellow rug. The yellow rug might be kind of throwing us off here. It might be better to have like some creams, you know? I also think that maybe it'd be better to have a different TV stand. I'll tell you this, in the house that I built yesterday, I had a completely different floor plan. I had a fireplace. I'll show you the previous version at the end of the video because I think it might be kind of interesting to compare them, but it really was like totally different vibes than this. This I think is more in line with my real life vibes. I made it a little bit too old school fancy in the other one. Okay, I'm putting a little coat rack and a rug by the front door so we have like a nice dedicated entry space. We could probably use a bookshelf. I might get a nice big built-in one kind of back there in this little hallway. This would be a nice wall for art. Ooh, small art. Maybe I could fit something bigger. Oh, I wonder if we could also get some sort of china cabinet because that might be nice to stick in here. I always struggle so much with these just big giant empty walls like this. I feel like when you look at it, it needs something to break it up a little bit more, but I don't even really know what I would do. I'm almost tempted to put a wall. That's horrible though. Or like if the island was over there instead. I don't know, it just needs something. Okay, I actually think that all that white looks pretty bad. So maybe we should try and switch it up so it's not so samey. I also unfortunately kind of despise these tile countertops. I never know what wallpaper to put with them, I think is my issue. I never put this little knife rack on the wall. Maybe I'll try and use that somewhere in here. Oh, we should put the hose outside. I don't know. I think that seems like a nice touch. That budget that we had talked about using, yeah, that has been completely thrown out of the window. We have 2,000 simoleons left. It's just that the original house wasn't really furnished all that much. So as soon as we come in and start trying to decorate it properly like this and adding clutter, we just run out of money instantly. I did also use a more expensive fridge and stove and TV, but that's fine. Ignore that part, okay? I am actually trying really hard to not use a lot of blue because I know that when I do base game builds, they often end up being kind of blue. But I think that for some things, we do need to have a little bit. Like, it's not a problem if we have a little tiny set of blue books, right? Oh, we have way too many lights too. Let me rethink these a little bit. I also wish in the base game that we had more of like a pendant light sort of situation because we don't have any that work for medium wall height. And you could, I guess, potentially try and size up some of the other lights, but it just looks a little bit weird when you make them that big. But I want to have a nice chandelier that fits at a reasonable height above this table. And I want to have some nice pendants here, like above the kitchen, and we just can't fit them. They don't really work because that's all way too high up. In real life, you want the pendant to be like this level, you know? And you can't even see it. You have to look all the way up to be able to see it. So it's just not so great. I was considering using this tile for the bathrooms, which I feel like is a really bold choice. It kind of looks like the ocean with the shiny blue, but I sort of like it. Unfortunately, I am cheating for money. Maybe in this bathroom, we don't put a shower or anything and we just have it be a toilet and a sink because this is like the downstairs hall bathroom for guests. And I know I said I was giving up on the budget, but it would be nice to not make a ridiculously expensive house and we can save a little bit of money that way. Oh, I don't have any windows in the back. Hold on. I feel like we want to do something bigger because that's nicer for the bedroom, but that does complicate things in this bathroom, I am afraid. Why did I have to go and keep these giant doors? This is a little bit tight as a Jack and Jill style bathroom, but that's okay. I kind of like it this way. I think it's nice that it's shared between them both. Oh, maybe we could put a different colored bathrobe on each door for like each of the two kids to have their own. Oh, this is actually really nice with those extra windows. I don't love how the side of the house looks, but that is nice for this bedroom and for the hallway because that looks so much brighter now. I was kind of picturing this bedroom belonging to a teenager. This is a very bright colored bed, so I don't really know if I want to use it, but I'm gonna try. I'm putting some like blinds type things up above them. And then I guess on the walls we could do like kind of a peachy color. No. No. No, 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 no. All of it looks bad. Maybe the peachy color is best. Okay, maybe the bed does have to go in the middle of the room just to space this out a little better. Okay, none of the pinks actually match this, which is really annoying. This pink is like too purple. But of course, why would the base game match itself? I mean, who needs this stuff to work well together, right? I'm gonna put a couple cute things like this cork board and a little poster above the desk. Oh, you know what? This poster thing's kind of interesting. It actually kind of matches. This one might even be better with the mannequins. This is a movie poster. It's called Still Life, a love so strong it stops time. And what, they're mannequins that are in love? I don't know. Okay. Whatever. Ooh, this little watermelon backpack is kind of peachy, so that sort of matches the vibes that we're going for. Maybe I can put this mirror on the wall right there to fill up that corner. And then we gotta get something over here. I like the idea of like a poof or something, or like some sort of beanbag chair. Unfortunately, the base game doesn't have any of that, so we can't. I could use this chair. I just don't really know if that's bad. Like, I don't really know what I'm going for with this. Okay, all the rugs are bad, so I don't know where that leaves us. Maybe no rug, I guess. Oh, maybe the sim plays guitar, because we could get like a nice bookshelf and kind of just tuck that away in the corner, and then I can use the Freezer Bunny guitar. That makes it so expensive, but I don't think it's bad. It's a nice kid's room. In this kid's room, ooh. I gave it this kind of cute minty color. I don't know if that works with any of the base game beds though. Oh, this one could work. If you were the Sims team, you would absolutely use this giant ridiculous dollhouse, right? Do we do the bright yellow? I guess I'm gonna say yes, we do the bright yellow. I think I like that. We can tuck away a bookshelf. Maybe this kid could have some posters. I've always liked this little reading poster. Honestly, I would buy that in real life. I just think it's kind of cute. I actually think that this rug kind of brings it all together. I don't know if it's weird to have like a Sims poster, but I guess we'll put one of those too. Maybe they can have a little bunny. This seems like a decent room. Okay, I think that's all of the downstairs finished. Upstairs, we have one more kid's room, and I think I might make this one into more of like a toddler's room because we already have a kid and a teen. I'm really sorry, but I am gonna use my favorite furniture set. I don't know what it is about this green color. It just kind of like speaks to me. I can get a cute little rainbow wallpaper to go with it. Maybe I'll put this teddy bear back here in the corner. Obsessed with this dinosaur rug for this purpose. I feel like that just kind of ties it all together. We should probably put some sort of curtains too. That blue and green kind of brings it together. Is it weird for a toddler to have a piggy bank in their bedroom? I don't know. They can have some blocks, and then maybe I'll mix and match a few other toys just on the floor so they can play with them. Oh, I just realized that we don't have a fire alarm anywhere. I think I'll put one just up there because then you can use this thing more easily. So this bathroom upstairs, I really think that we should try and fit in a shower tub combo. This is gonna be really tight, but because there's a toddler up here, I just think that's probably necessary. We can still fit in things like a toddler potty and some decorations. Maybe I'll make the toddler potty green because this kid clearly likes green. So that's one fully finished bathroom. The original house had a kind of nice set of like clawfoot tubs and pretty gold accents. Maybe I could try and use that in the primary bathroom. Of course they had all that, but then had the cheapest toilet for who knows what reason. I get a lot of questions when I do this with the robe and put it on the back of a door because people are wondering if the door still works, and it's fine. Your Sims can walk through that just fine. They will literally walk through it though. So if that bothers you, you might not like it. I don't really mind that though. I just like how it looks, so I keep it anyway. Okay, we have this whole pastel yellow thing going on, and there is a bed that might work for this. This is a bed that you unlock from the artist career, and it has sunflowers. I don't know if that's like too much. It is very busy to have a whole sunflower bedspread, but it's kind of pretty. So maybe it's busy in like a pretty way. And I guess we can kind of try to simplify things a bit more with the rest of the furniture. One of the things I'm liking about this house is just how it's kind of calm on the interior. I don't really know if that makes any sense, but there's just something kind of tranquil about this color scheme, and I like that about it. And I am feeling like this is maybe a little bit of a departure from that, so I don't know if that's a good thing. Okay, I think that's the best that we can do for that little upstairs bedroom. In this hallway, we might want to get a couple of extra things. I don't think it would hurt if we had like maybe another bookshelf. Sometimes when I do base game builds, I put clocks in a couple of places on the wall. And that's because I like how the clock looks, but also I think it's a nice placeholder for if you have seasons, you can replace it with a thermostat instead. And that might be the whole interior finished. So let's think a little bit about what to put on these outside patios. I think a couple of doormats would help. I think I will put a doormat outside in front of this door too, just so we can kind of distinguish that one as the main front door. I know I like always do this, but I'm gonna put a chess table upstairs. I find chess tables to be really useful in The Sims for building your logic skill, and I kind of like the thought of putting a couple of these little planter boxes, not even to put plants in that you actually can grow, but to basically fake decorate with some real plants. These are like fake plants. The real plants are the ones that your Sims can actually like harvest, right? But you know what I mean. I'll put some planters there just to have some more greenery. I think I will get myself a couple of those down here too. But maybe on this downstairs, we could put an easel. I always like that kind of thing. I think that's fun for gameplay. We do have space for a small little grill right here, and probably an even smaller little table. I like that though. I think it's nice to have some outdoor seating. I'll tuck away the trash can over there. This hose looks weird because it's so high up, doesn't it? Maybe I'll stop with that. Oh, we should definitely steal the garden pot thing for this front porch as well. Is it weird to have the same two plants in all of them? Because I don't really know. And one thing that I did that I kind of liked in the original version, I'm not obsessed with the color of this table, okay? I think I actually kind of hate it, but this is a card table. There's a few better ones that are in packs. This is obviously just the base game, so we have to use that weird gray color, but I think it's nice to have the card table. It's fun to have a thing for your Sims to play with like that. So I might just put it anyway, even though it's not like the most perfect color. And then we can get some nice big trees kind of tucked around the sides of this lot. We're gonna want to get some pretty bushes. I might use those to line this foundation and maybe to line the back of this too. What happens if I get another tree? I mean, it's kind of busy, but I think that looks pretty from the inside of the yard, and that's my priority. I want the yard to look nice. We should definitely line at least the side of this so we can have a little bit more going on. And I've been looking at some pictures of some houses like this in real life, and it seems like because a lot of them are more in the city, they'll often have some like kind of fancy lined planter boxes like this because it's like up against a sidewalk. I also think that I want to use yellow flowers. I'm kind of trying to embrace the yellow that we've got going on here. I think I might put some fancy yellow flowers right there, but then also kind of tuck away some more natural landscaping too. I didn't really ever notice this before, but these have like a different shade of green to them. You can tell it a lot more in the shade. When they're in the sun, it's not as obvious. That actually looks really nice in the backyard, like to sit back here, have some dinner. That would be really pretty. It's a shame your Sims don't really do that. They will sit at this table a lot, actually. They kind of autonomously sit at tables like that all the time. Maybe we get another little set of monkey bars, because that's kind of nice. Oh, and I can put a telescope somewhere. I might even put that in the front yard. Okay, honestly, this place might be done. I just want to go through and get some more terrain paint now. I always do the terrain paint last because the Sims 4 likes to glitch your terrain paint, and I hate that. So I always do it at the very end just in case, because I don't want it to delete itself and then have to do it again. I like how the trash can's kind of tucked away in that corner too. It's nice because it's easily accessible, but it's not like ruining the vibes and making you look at a trash can. Okay, I think that the house is complete. So that is our official Riverside Roost reno. I'm gonna put this on the gallery. I'm actually curious because this version of the house is worth $83,925, and the one that I did yesterday, which looks kind of similar as you can see, this one is worth $91,000, so it's a little bit more expensive. Totally different interior vibe. I'm gonna call this the Riverside Roost Reno 2. It has more bedrooms and more bathrooms this time, but it's cheaper, because I used cheaper appliances. This one's on the gallery, the other one's on the gallery. This is kind of a quick tour of our version this time. We have more of an open floor plan. It's a lot brighter than the original. There's 2 kids' bedrooms in the back. There's a bathroom down here. They have a shared bathroom as well. And then upstairs we have 2 more bedrooms and 2 more bathrooms. So it's a decent layout. I want to quickly show you what I did yesterday, because this one's totally different. And this footage is ruined because my audio is all gone, but this is kind of what it looks like. I used a different color scheme slightly because we had brick, so I had like a different pathway. Similar flower situation. You can see I had similar porches. I actually painted this white and I kept the yellow windows, but I was complaining a lot about it. Not that you could hear me because the audio was ruined. In this backyard, basically the exact same thing. Ignore that, okay? But this is what the interior looks like of this version. And actually, I think that the one that we did today is a lot better for the layout. We have kind of an interesting, bigger front entrance right here. And I made a cool living room. This is like layered coffee tables. I used to do that all the time in my builds like 6 years ago, and I haven't done that in ages. So I put that again here. It has like a blue and yellow vibe. They've got these cute couches angled towards both the fireplace and the TV. So I did like this living room. Then I put a little kid's bedroom down here, which I think is nice. It's fine. And then we had like kind of a kitchen dining open space in the back. We have a fancy dining table and a much smaller kitchen. And they had a nice big office space right here, kind of going out to the back patio. They had a huge bathroom downstairs, and then the upstairs, they just had 2 more bedrooms. So we had a very small hallway with a little kid's bedroom here, a bigger primary bedroom, and then the primary had an ensuite. So I think that the layout that we chose, the way that we managed to fit in an extra bedroom and 2 more bathrooms, plus of a bigger kitchen, I just think that this has a lot of wasted space with the open hallway. So hopefully you like the version I made today better, because they're very similar, but I had to redo it because I wanted to still post the video even though it was ruined. I've been going through it this week. It's just, it feels like everything's going wrong. It was my fault. I updated my PC to Windows 11 yesterday to see if it would fix my crashing issue. It didn't, so that's good. But when I updated my PC, it reset my default mic. So I didn't realize that my recording software was using the default mic, but the default mic was nothing. It was like the camera, but the camera has no audio. So it recorded my video, it recorded my game, but you could just see me talking and not hear anything. And I didn't realize until after I finished recording because I didn't think to check, which again, my fault. It was a mistake, but it was a bad mistake. So it's okay. Hopefully you like the video still. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, I do a lot of Sims building here on my YouTube channel, just mostly from scratch. I don't normally renovate EA's builds that often. happen. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. And I also stream over on my Twitch channel every single day. So if you want to watch us play Sims over there live, my name's just lilsimsie on Twitch, and I'll link that down below for you. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'm gonna catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. Honestly, you should have seen me yesterday. I almost started crying when I noticed that it was muted. I was so upset. It's funny now, but yesterday I was like, you're kidding. Hours of building for nothing. But it's okay. It's funny.